You know Jimmy Choo? Its parent company is Michael Kors, which is also the parent company of Versace. Together, they make up Capri Holdings, which was recently acquired by Tapestry, formerly known as Coach, which had previously purchased Kate Spade after it had already acquired Stuart Weitzman. If we add up all those transactions, you end up with a massive number, $14,794,000,000. And one.
You know what y'all need to watch? Let me rewind this a little bit. Let me show y'all this. You know what y'all need to watch? Go watch. It's a video that I watched on a plane one time, and it was called, I believe it was called The House of Gucci. The House of Gucci. And it takes you through the history of the family and how he started the company, and then how eventually the company was taken from him, because creativity often at times give way to capitalism, and the creators and the people that's at the forefront is not really the ones that profit from it. Kate Spade, Stuart, Jimmy, Versace, Capri, all of them are corporate owned entities. Did you know that the richest man in the world, and it fluctuates as far as the valuation of what their holdings are, this richest man in the world is not even Elon Musk. LVMH, baby. LVMH. That is largely considered one of the richest men in the world. I'm going to start bringing y'all up shortly. I want to play a little bit more of this, and then we're going to get to it.
Million.
M&A in fashion, but really is what it's adding to that specific company. They're investing in future growth rates and being able to see that you can capitalize on what a brand is and enhance your own stature can create for a win-win scenario.
Right now, the future is all about size. There's consolidation because you have to be part of a big company. And that has been the opposite of what luxury has been about for decades.
So what they tend to do, and the reason why this makes sense, is the same reason why it makes sense in every other industry, including the auto industry, including the finance industry. You see banks buy other banks. You see automakers often at times swallow up other competitors. And how it works is they like to use this word called synergy, right? Synergy is basically code for saying that we want to simplify the company by eliminating things that you do over here that we already do over here, and we just want to swallow up your sales while minimizing the amount of money that you have to spend for us to do the same thing over there. So let me give you an example. If I have an HR representative and structure over here, and then I swallow up your company, I can still run your company the same way that I run my company, but I can get rid of your HR staff, which minimize costs and allows for me to continue to expand my sales. If we have a technology resource over here, and we have project managers and developers, and we already got cloud infrastructure, and we want to have synergy, that means that we can lay off what it is that y'all doing over there, swallow up the brand. You already got infrastructure. You already got additional marketing that we can then deploy dollars over into, and we can expand the brand while also making you think that we're competing against each other, but we're really just all taking in the entire pie now. So the pie is ours, but what we do is we minimize costs, or we shave costs, or we cut costs by combining resources and allowing for us to do more with less while continuing to raise sales. That's what's called synergy, or corporate speak for continuing to lay people off in order to save money. And so they don't want you to think that they're the same company. Have y'all ever heard of Yum Brands? A lot of times the same food come from the same distribution company, but it's just sourced out to different places. We had this conversation the other day, and I didn't even realize that Aldi was basically the same place as Trader Joe's. The same family that owns Aldi owns Trader Joe's. And I called it, and I didn't even know it. I said, man, Trader Joe's is kind of doing the same thing, except for they doing more upscale. They're not necessarily leveraging name brands. They're giving a different experience and then charging you more money and then saying that it's synergy, right? And so what these brands are doing is swallowing each other up continuing to consolidate sales and then pushing out similar products as made with the same materials that often allows for you to then get status if you're associated with the brand. I didn't even know that Versace, I knew that it wasn't owned by the Versace company and that they were just the front, but I didn't even know Versace had recently got swallowed up by this entity. Let's see a little bit more and then I'm about to bring y'all up.
What these companies are doing is basically mirroring LVMH, Richemont, Kering, the big three, which own dozens of brands and have shown that the only way to survive is to be big, but also create the illusion that you're small and special.
High interest rates, sticky inflation, and the return of student loan payments are just a few of the problems straining business balance sheets and reducing consumer spending.
I bet you didn't know, because it's all about perception. Remember that? JD Power and Associates, some people already have a certain perception before they even go into a specific dealership. I bet you didn't know that General Motors and Toyota partner on some vehicles. I bet you didn't know that General Motors and Honda partner on some vehicles. I bet you didn't know that some of these companies like Maserati use the same engines from Ferrari. That the underpinnings for some of these platforms that you love so much, but then you hate what their competitors doing just because of the marketing, is in most instances the same workers making the same product across the board. Some of the new, and one of the things that a lot of competitors like to do is they like to let another company build the go through the research and development. And then what they do is they're using their underpinnings to make the same vehicle and then they rebrand it. That's why earlier it wasn't as much of a differentiation, because a Mercury looked like a Ford, which then looked like a Lincoln. And now they figured out how to source out and differentiate it a little bit differently. If you look at it, okay, I'll give you an example. The Lamborghini Urus is the Porsche. The Lamborghini Urus is the Porsche. It's the Cayenne. If you look under it, it's all owned by the Volkswagen Group. And if you go through and you look at some of the underpinnings and the frame and this and that, so on and so forth, if you ever had to do any repairs, it'll have Volkswagen stickers or it'll have Porsche stickers on there. Audi, Lamborghini, Volkswagen. You're absolutely correct. I bet you didn't know that Rolls-Royce actually was owned by BMW. It's owned by BMW. A Urus is a Cayenne. Rebadged. It's the same thing with these luxury brands. It's all owned by the same people. In order for them to save money, they then have synergy and then they market it differently in order to save money and drive up sales.
In the retail world, mergers and acquisitions have become a way to keep growing despite macroeconomic headwinds.
The growth-oriented acquisitions really help to drive the business further. For example, go from apparel and enter cosmetics. New designers can create interest because you can extend your customer base, whether it's extending your customer base older or younger, or extending your customer base globally. A lot of brands, and luxury brands for the most part, are up significantly, 50% plus versus 2019 in the pandemic, but the growth rate on a year-over-year basis is definitely moderating.
The other big question for luxury is the growth era, the golden era for luxury, over?
So that's all I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share with you that these companies are all being swallowed up. So when you go in and you buy these companies, I want y'all to start researching a little bit so you understand who you're supporting and how you can invest in it. Over 2 years ago, I did this program. I'm about to start bringing y'all up. Over 2 years ago, I suggested something to y'all, and some people forgot it and some people continue to do it. And what it did was it forced people to start doing some research, and that was the whole purpose of it, is to understand what you're buying, but also take a vested interest in it so that you'll make more informed decisions. And I said that, listen, for whatever it was that you were about to go out and spend money on, cut it in half. Some of y'all remember this. That was early bag chasers, early Patreon members. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I said, listen, make sure that whatever it is that you buy, cut it in half. And then spend half researching, and then purchasing equity into the company that you're purchasing a product for. And if you don't actually want to do that, then that means that A, you're not being fiscally responsible, or B, you actually don't agree with whoever it is that's funding whatever it is that's going on as far as the product that you're purchasing. Same thing with the grocery stores. You can buy Kroger. You can also buy in a Walmart. For everything that you buy, cut it in half and take equity in the company and then spend half of what it is that you was going to buy on the actual product. A lot of y'all forgot about that, didn't y'all? A lot of y'all forgot about that, didn't y'all? Whatever it is that you want to buy, take a vested interest in it so that you'll be an equity partner as a result of it. Some of y'all don't even own what it is that you drive. Some of y'all don't even own what you drive. Before I ever bought a Tesla, I bought Tesla. Before I ever bought a Tesla, I bought Tesla.